Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we've got a really interesting topic lined up.
Oh, yeah.
The global Juniper Berry Oil Market. And think of this session as, well, your personal briefing. We're taking a detailed report and
Right.
basically pulling out all the essential insights
Yeah,
just for you.
exactly. And the source we're digging into, it's a pretty recent market research report
Mm.
from Data Strain Consulting, dated May 2025.
Okay.
So our mission really is to get a clear handle on what's happening right now and, what the future looks like for this market. Make it easy to digest.
And hopefully interesting, too.
We hope so.
And just to, hook you right away, get this. In 2024, the market was estimated at about $203.9 million globally.
Right.
But the projections, they suggest it could hit $442.6 million by 2035.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of 7.3%. So, okay, let's really get into it. What's actually driving this kind of growth?
Well, to really get that, you first need to see how the market's structured, how it's put together.
The segments. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The report breaks it down in a few key ways. First, there's the product type. Basically, is it organic or non-organic oil?
Okay, makes sense.
Then, and this is crucial, there's the application. So where is it being used? Think cosmetics, beauty products, homeopathy, aromatherapy, and then there's a catch-all others category too.
So it's not just one thing driving it, it's spread out a bit.
Not at all. It's quite diverse. Then you've also got segmentation by distribution channel.
How it gets sold.
Precisely.
Okay.
Online retail, physical stores, direct sales, those kinds of channels.
Right.
And finally, who's the end user? Is it individual consumers like you and me, or healthcare institutes, maybe beauty facilities, others too?
That gives a really good overview of the landscape. What about geographically? Where are the main hotspots?
It's a global analysis, so it covers the major regions: North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and the Middle East and Africa.
The usual suspects.
Pretty much. And within those, certain countries really pop out, either as major players right now or ones with big growth potential. That's like, well, you've got the US, UK, Germany, France, China. They're key markets currently. But then look at places like Brazil, Thailand, South Africa. The report flags them as emerging markets with really strong potential growth.
Interesting. So a truly global picture. Okay, we touched on why it's growing. Let's dig into those drivers a bit more. What are the main engines here?
Yeah, there are two really big ones that stand out in the report. The first, it's this major shift, this growing preference among consumers for natural and organic products.
We see that everywhere, don't we?
Absolutely. Across so many industries, people just want those kinds of ingredients. And the second big factor is a rising awareness. People are learning more about the health and wellness benefits Juniper Berry oil might offer.
That definitely tracks with, the broader wellness trends. And those applications you mentioned, aromatherapy, cosmetics, how are they specifically playing into this?
Oh, they're central to it. Really central. The expanding use, especially in aromatherapy and personal care, is a huge part of this upward trend.
Yeah.
Like in aromatherapy, for instance, it's gaining popularity. It's often cited for its calming and grounding effects. People are looking for natural ways to manage stress, anxiety.
Which, let's face it, is a big need for a lot of people these days.
Exactly. And it's not just the established markets. The report points to, well, significant untapped potential in developing countries, too.
Ah, okay.
As disposable incomes go up and awareness of natural products spreads in those regions, you're likely to see demand really pick up.
Right. So it's a story of both established markets evolving and new markets opening up. Let's circle back to the numbers then, the how much. We had the 2024 figure and that impressive CAGR. Give us a clearer picture of the scale of this growth.
Sure. So just to recap, $203.9 million estimated in 2024.
Got it.
The projection hits $311.2 million by 2030, and then around $442.6 million by 2035, all sticking to that 7.3% average annual growth rate.
Okay.
But what's really striking, I think, is the absolute growth opportunity. Between 2024 and 2034, the report estimates that opportunity at $208.6 million.
Wow. So basically the market is set to more than double in size over the next 10 years.
That's exactly what the report says. It anticipates a 102% expansion in the next decade.
That's pretty substantial growth. Okay, let's zoom in a bit. Those key markets you mentioned, US, UK, Germany, France, China. What's their performance looking like in this forecast? Any big differences between them?
Yeah, the report gives a snapshot of their performance and CAGR. It doesn't spell out every single percentage points in this summary, but the general feel is Steady, consistent growth in those established markets.
Okay.
But the real action, the dynamism, it seems to be in those emerging markets we talked about, Brazil, Thailand, South Africa.
Right, the ones with higher futures.
Exactly. Their projected HEGRs are stronger, landing somewhere between 8.4% and 10.1%. So yeah, they seem to be on a faster track than some of the more mature economies.
That definitely makes them look attractive for businesses wanting to expand. So, with all this growth potential, what about the competition? Who are the main companies vying for a piece of this pie?
Well, the analysis suggests that companies really zeroing in on homeopathy and aromatherapy applications. They're likely positioned to grab a larger slice of the market share going forward.
Interesting focus.
Yeah. And it names quite a few key players. You've got Aromatics International, Mountain Rose Herbs, Bulk Apothecary, Young Living, doTERRA, Plant Therapy.
Okay, a mix of well-known and maybe some more specialized names.
Right. G. Bulbin & Co., Star West Botanicals, Now Foods, Majestic Pure, Rocky Mountain Oils, Eden Botanicals. The decent list.
Is it a concentrated market, though? Like a few big players dominating?
The report mentions a competitive dashboard. It does say the top 5 companies hold a, quote, significant portion of the market. No exact percentages here, though.
Okay.
But it also uses this helpful matrix categorizing companies. Leaders, challengers, innovators, niche players, based on their growth rate and market share.
Standard market analysis stuff. Leaders have high share, steady growth.
Right. Challengers pushing hard. Innovators are often smaller, bringing new ideas. Niche players focus on specific segments.
That framework helps make sense of it. And what kind of changes does the report expect in that competitive space? Any big shifts predicted?
It suggests we could see some M&A activity, like the bigger leaders maybe acquiring some of those innovators to get new tech or products.
Makes sense. Buy the innovation.
Exactly. And maybe some consolidation among the niche players trying to get bigger, gain more presence. You might also see partnerships, maybe leaders and challengers teaming up for specific goals, like vertical integration or moving into new areas.
So definitely a dynamic space to watch. Let's revisit the regions, North America and Europe. What's specifically driving growth there?
Okay, North America. Strong growth, largely driven by more people using it in aromatherapy and natural cosmetics.
Back to those core applications.
Yeah, and it's fueled by that consumer demand for natural organic stuff. Plus, the rise of e-commerce makes it really easy for people to buy these products online.
Right, easy access. What about Europe? Different story there.
Similar trends, but also some unique factors. Juniper berry oil has a long history in European traditional medicine, for one.
Ah, interesting.
And it's increasingly used in food and beverages. Think flavoring. Gin is the obvious example, of course.
Can't forget the gin.
Definitely not. Plus, there's just a growing demand across Europe for more natural therapies, holistic approaches to health, so its potential detoxifying properties are getting attention too.
So different regional flavors, pardon the pun, influencing the market. You also mentioned Asia-Pacific playing a key role.
Yes, specifically in homeopathy. The report highlights Asia-Pacific, along with North America, as expected leaders in market growth for homeopathy applications, particularly between 2025 and 2030.
Okay, so specific strength in that segment for those regions. Now let's look at the product types again. Organic versus non-organic. What was the market share split and what's the growth outlook for each?
Right, in 2024, it was pretty much an even split, around 45% market share for organic and about 45% for non-organic.
Okay, fairly balanced.
Yeah, but the growth projections show a difference. The organic side has an absolute opportunity estimated at $52.1 million, with a KGR of about 5.84%.
Still decent growth.
Decent, yeah. But the non-organic segment, it shows a larger absolute opportunity, $77.2 million, and a notably higher projected CAGR of 8.47%.
Huh, that's interesting. Despite the big organic trend, the non-organic is projected to grow faster. Why might that be?
Well, the report offers a little insight there. It suggests that non-organic juniper berry oil is actually gaining a stronger foothold, specifically in homeopathy and aromatherapy applications.
Really?
Yeah, so maybe for those specific uses, factors other than just the organic label, perhaps cost, maybe specific formulations available, are playing a bigger role in purchasing decisions.
That's a really important distinction. Now, the report also talked about M4 factors. What are those and how do they fit in?
Right, the M4 factors, they're basically key market dynamics the report identifies as having a big influence, most impactful one. It's called increasing demand in aromatherapy and upsurge in herbal cosmetics. That one's got like a 45% to 55% estimated impact. It really highlights how that whole natural organic trend is boosting use in herbal cosmetics, probably because of its reported antibacterial and astringent properties.
Ties right back to the application drivers. What else is in the M4 mix?
Okay, another one with about a 10% impact is regulation compliance issues and price fluctuations.
Ah, the challenges.
Exactly. Price volatility is a real thing tied to juniper berry cultivation, agriculture in general, plus navigating different regulations. Then you have geographical conflicts, trade war, devaluation multiplier effect. That carries a heavier weight, maybe 15 to 25% impact.
The bigger picture stuff.
Right, the macro factors affecting global trade. And lastly, there's aromatherapeutic evolution with about a 20% impact. Suggests ongoing development and new ideas within aromatherapy itself.
So a mix of market-specific trends and these wider economic forces shaping things.
Yeah.
Okay, the report also mentioned the supply chain briefly.
Yeah, just a quick mention. It's pretty straightforward. Stage 1, cultivation and harvest of the berries.
Right.
Stage 2, extraction and processing, getting the oil out. Stage 3, getting it to the end user. And the report just notes that companies use different strategies at each stage, trying to get better market access or lower costs.
Makes sense. Efficiency matters, especially with potential price swings on the raw material. Okay, one last piece. Porter's 5 forces analysis. What did that show about competition in different areas?
Yeah, because a quick competitive temperature check. For homeopathy, it suggests medium competition, probably because there are other remedies people might substitute.
Okay.
Aromatherapy currently shows low competition, but, and this is key, it's growing fast, so that could change.
Right. Low now doesn't mean low forever.
Exactly. And then cosmetics and beauty products, high competition, which isn't really surprising. That's a crowded space generally.
Definitely. So understanding which sandbox you're playing in application-wise is crucial. Okay, let's wrap up this deep dive. What are the main things you think our listeners should take away from this?
I think the big picture is undeniably positive growth, strong growth. It's really being pushed by consumers wanting natural, organic options, and also by a better understanding of how juniper berry oil can be used, especially in those booming areas like aromatherapy and personal care. Plus, there are real opportunities popping up in developing markets, and the competitive scene looks like it'll keep shifting with M&A and consolidation.
That sums it up nicely. A come-to-your view of where things stand and where they seem to be heading. Okay, now for that final thought for you, the listener, to ponder.
Go on.
Given this clear trend towards natural wellness and the kind of growth we're seeing projected for juniper berry oil, what other essential oils or maybe botanical extracts do you think might be right on the edge of similar growth? And maybe more importantly, what factors could help push them forward or potentially hold them back? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.